Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
It's really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. Because, guys, over 33 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 33 years later, I can honestly say now, through the grace of God, I'm a smart ass, and the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey. That's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, a lot of people even with health issues, recovery, addiction, family members. I'm here to help you. All my services to you are free. I'm a recovery coach. I'm a nutritional health coach. Please, please reach out. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com, and please subscribe to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to just a couple of my sponsors today, and then I'm going to introduce my incredible guest. Stormin Norman Selden, 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com, booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes, from a 5 to 12-piece band. Guys, he was here recently with his keyboard. He's a monster on the keyboards. And what a lot of people don't know is he helped get Larry Chance from the Earls, the song Remember Then, back in the day, started. Larry was like family. We love you and we miss you. Rest in peace, Angel. And Norman's doing something really cool for seniors now. He's giving keyboard lessons. So if you're interested, please call. Then we've got Ken Ryan and Linda Garofalo, The Way It Used to Be, singing songs from the 50s to the 80s, a tribute show to the greatest music and voices of all time. Ken also does Elvis for me, baby. Thank you very much. And I want to give a shout out to him and Linda because they do so many fundraisers. They're amazing. And then last but certainly not least, John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. He's also the partner in the Joey D. and Johnny B. Rock and Oldies Band. Now, I want to give a shout-out to him and his wife, Lenny, because they put on this luncheon once a month. It's by invite only. If you tell them you know me, they might let you in. All right, it's $20. You get a great lunch, and you get incredible entertainment. And they don't keep a penny of it. And they promote the crap out of me and the entertainers, and they're just amazing. So I want to thank them personally. So having said that, my guest is no stranger to the Geri Petito Show or Hamilton Radio. She's actually one of our favorites here. Right, Doc G? Okay? And we go back with her, and we just love her. So I'm going to introduce her the way she wants to be introduced, and then I'm going to tell you how I like to call her, okay? So this is Casey LaCourse, the Cowboy poet, okay? Even though to me, she's my cowgirl poet. Hey, Casey, say hi.
Hi, Geri. Hi. It is so good to see you. And I have, since my last CD, The Last Sunset, I now call it Western Poetry of the Old American West.
There you go. Very cool. I love it all. I'm
a Western poet of the Old American West.
You know?
Yes. Thank you.
No, but I love cowboy poet. I love cowgirl poet. I love it all. First of all, I love cowboys, girl, okay? If I was gay, I'd marry you, okay? If you were gay.
I'm telling you, right?
Yes. All right. I need a cowboy, baby. I need a cowboy. So
well, I'm telling you. Come on out to Vegas. It's Cowboy Christmas.
Okay. So, all right. So listen, tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Let's start there.
All right. Well, I am Casey LaCourse. I am a Western poet of the old American West. I write and recite my own original poetry about historical, anything that's got to do with the Old West, pioneers, Native Americans, cowboys, especially the women. The women I felt were really the backbone of the American West, and they get overshadowed sometimes by the hard spitting, chewing cowboy. But the women worked just as hard, and my poetry focuses on a lot of that. I also, historically, I like to look up and write poems about history of the Old West. And I will also take my friends, if they inspire me, I will turn them into a pioneer or a cowboy, and I will write about them. I have done that many times on my CDs. Yes.
It's so funny because back in the day when I first started doing radio, for the first, probably, I would say the first 4 years, I wasn't on like 5 or 6 networks that I ended up being on. So I would write a poem for every single guest. But, it just got, crazy and I really couldn't do that. But I agree. I love doing all that.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
And I like that poem you wrote for me. That was really clever.
yes, you got
Very.
one. There you go. I had to write one for you. What are you kidding me? I mean, come on.
It was really good. Yeah, really cute. I loved it. Thank you. Yeah.
So, why don't you give us a little something, and then
All right,
we'll continue
I will.
to talk.
I sure will. I had to scramble for a minute here and get this. Now, I know you're a cancer survivor, right?
Yep.
And I am also a cancer survivor. And I wrote this poem about that. And it's and I gave it a Western flavor, and it's for all the brothers and sisters out there that are fighting this monster. And I'm gonna have to turn my head a little bit because it's on my desktop.
That's okay.
And it is called Ride Tall, Cowgirl. In the wild west of life, I rode tall with pride. I'm a cowgirl, fierce, with a powerful stride. Suddenly, it crashed around me. The dreaded day of the doctor's call, a diagnosis harsh, like a face-first fall. Breast cancer, the outlaw, had come to town, tried to take me down and wear my Stetson crown. But I stood tall, like a red chaparral strong. I refused to let it take my words or my song. I saddled up for the fight of my life, with radiation, surgery, and a warrior's knife. Through it all, with my husband by my side, I made my stand. A pink ribboned rebel and a never give up band. With every step, I claimed my ground, a spirit unbroken, like wild mustangs when found. I rode the range with a heart, knowing no fear. A survivor's cry, echoing loud and clear. So here's to my sisters, cowgirls who face the fight with courage and strength in the quiet of night. May our hearts stay strong, our spirits unite, and may we all ride tall to see another morning's light.
That's beautiful. I love
Thank
it, man.
you.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I gave old cancer a run for its money there in the West. So, yeah, I'm real proud of that one. That one's a good one.
So we're going to go backwards in time, but I want to start present with what's going on in your life today, and then we're going to go backwards.
Okay, sure. All right, thank you. Jerry, you always ask the best questions. You are a great interviewer. I listen to it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So what's going on with me right now? I'm real proud to say that in 2023, I traveled to Holland for the Red Carpet Awards. It's a big deal. It's an international award show in Europe, and with over 3,000 nominees in 250 categories. And I wrote them and I asked them why they didn't have cowboy poetry in one of their categories with all the categories that they have. And they said, we don't know what cowboy poetry is. I said, well, let me send you some MP3s and some pictures. They loved it. they asked me to come out to Almelo, Holland, and show them at their big red carpet award show. I was thrilled. I said, I'm there.
Yeah.
I went on my own dime. I recited. I met so many people. So many artists, so many nice people. So they liked what I did, and they have now got cowboy poetry is now a category in this international venue. I'm so proud of that. So the awards for 2024 came out, and I, of course, submitted to them, and I won for Spirit of the West.
Yay!
I know. Thank you. I was, I'm absolutely thrilled. And my 2025 nominations are already in. I already submitted to that. So that's pending. I've got a lot of my Western poet friends involved in this. And a real good friend of mine, Rick Goodell, he won for Cowboy Poet for the males. So I'm really proud of that I got that going. And that's what's going on with me right now is I just came back from Albuquerque. I was up for 2 nominations with the IWMA, the International Western Music Association. I belong to that. It's a great chapter. Anybody that's looking for a spot for their songs, their poetry, Western, they should join up with the IWMA. It gives us an opportunity to display what we know, our art. And I was up for Cowboy Poet Album of the Year and top 5 female cowboy poets of the year. I did not win, but it was an absolute honor.
Yeah, an honor.
Yeah. So I was very thrilled. And it's funny. I was up there nominated with friends of mine who have watched me expand and grow as a performer. So it was a real thrill to be right beside them now and being nominated for the same awards. So I'm happy. And I'm working on my 5th CD. I already have 15 poems ready to roll. And I always get a really good review from Rick Huff in the Western Way magazine. Yeah. I sent you little clips of that, I think. Yeah, so, and I'm just saving up for my next trip, which will be Australia.
You know, that's my home away from home.
I hear you. I know it is, and I've already got a gig for a country music festival out there with Joy Star Productions, and I am absolutely thrilled. Yep. I'm so thrilled. Mark Eckel of
Mark. Hey, Mark. We love you, Mark.
So he got me this gig with Joy Star Productions, and I'm just thrilled because Jerry, I'm going back to Australia.
Okay,
I love it.
So listen, you got to hug a kangaroo for me, baby. Come on.
Oh. You got it. All sure right. Thing.
So now,
all right.
But wait, I want to just say something.
Yeah.
To you and everyone listening, she is the one who got that category, okay, for them to do. Now, were you recognized about that at least?
You know, I was with all my peers.
All right.
The IWMA hasn't quite caught up to that yet. We just had a meeting, and they did thank me for that, and it is on my.
All right, and you won anyway. I mean, so all right, this is amazing.
Yeah,
but that's cool.
Yeah, I'm real proud of that, and it's a good thing. I'm real proud of that. I got spoken word out there internationally, so
that's so cool. So now I want to go back a little bit. Well, I want to go back a bit first.
Sure.
Let's go all the way back. So you're a young kid. All right, where did you grow up?
You know what? The first early years, Colorado. Okay. The first years until I probably was in 5th or 6th grade, I lived in a little town. I was born in Denver, Colorado, but my family moved to a real little town called Larkspur, Colorado. No paved streets, maybe 50 people lived in town. The schoolhouse had 3 grades in it. We had one teacher, Mrs. Anderson, and we had 2, 4, 6 rows. She would teach the 4th graders, then walk and teach the 5th graders, move over and teach the 6th graders. And I went to school like that for like 2 years there.
How old were you? Wait, how old were you when you moved there?
I was, I'm not sure, what age that would be.
No, but about. What grade were you in?
I was in 4th.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, go ahead. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was, I lived in a log cabin with my grandma, a real live log cabin with a pot-bellied stove.
Cool.
And you would hear the train at night because it was up in the mountains. And it was on the side of a mountain, absolutely on the side of a mountain. And we would have to run down that dirt road every morning to go to the schoolhouse. And we would hear the trains at night. We would walk the trestles, going to school.
Little
And,
House on the Prairie, baby.
I'm telling you. So I think I was always out there climbing trees and playing games, and my imagination just went wild. And I think that's where my love of the open outdoors and freedom, which is relative in a lot of my poetry,
Yep.
came from, was that early childhood. And then, moved into Denver, blah, 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 went to school, and I graduated, moved to Las Vegas, came out here on the back of a motorcycle with a boyfriend, then got left. He went back to Colorado. I stayed here in Las Vegas, got a job, and then I bought a motorcycle and I rode cross country to San Francisco, then San Francisco to Florida by myself on my Kawasaki Mach 3 two-stroke. Yeah,
Okay.
So
Wow. All right. So
that's an adventure.
I'm going to have you tell me about how you met your husband in a minute, but I want to go back a little bit more. So
Sure.
when did you first start writing poetry? But when did you first start know you had that desire?
You know what? It was 2016, really, when I had always kind of rhymed, but not Western. I remember writing funny poems at Christmas time for my sisters, and just little tidbits here and there. But then in 2016, I was at my computer and I was reading Cowboys and Indians magazine, which is my favorite magazine to read. And there was a poem in there, and I thought, well, this is not that great. I can do that. And I wrote my first poem, and it was pretty good. And I was like, all right. So then I looked online for what do I do with this now? I can do this. I want to take this a step further. And a lady named Margot Metagrano was the editor and the publisher of cowboypoetry.com. She was very kind and said, this is where you need to go, Casey. You need to go to Elko, and you need to look for open mic. So that kind of took off. And I had to learn rhyme and meter, because cowboy poetry is specific to rhyme and meter. Every other line have to rhyme.
That's what I do. And I didn't even know I'm doing cowboy poetry. I just thought that was supposed to be the way.
Yeah. So it's different. It doesn't write about, oh, my love that I've known, the things you hear. And it's not like that. It's very, because that's how, when the cowboys first started out in the late 1800s on a roundup, they would sit around the campfire, and they didn't have pen and paper. So they would talk about their day, and the way they would remember their day was to speak in rhyme.
I didn't know that.
That's where it came from.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
It would calm the cattle. It would calm the horses to hear that rhyming and that noise at night. It didn't disturb them. It calmed them. So that's where cowboy, quote unquote, poetry really came from. Is the cowboys would recite their day in rhyme and meter so that they could remember it, because they couldn't write it down. So that's where it really came from.
Well, I want to read my very first poem to you here. It's very short, but there's a reason why it's adorable. So it was in 1977, and I was in, I guess, beginning of high school, whatever, but we were supposed to do something creative, and I'm an artist, so I wanted to draw, and she was like, do something different. I want something creative, maybe a poem, blah, blah, blah. So I was up all night, and I couldn't get a poem, and I had this orange bag on my hot pink shag rug floor, and I'm throwing the papers in it because it was just, I can't get a poem, crumbling up these papers. I wake up in the morning and I hear something in the bag going so I love mice. I thought it might have been a mouse, a field mouse, because I lived in the country. So I grabbed my camera. I always had my camera, and it was my cat. So my cat looks up out of the bag like with a piece of paper in his mouth like, oh crap, I just got caught. I wrote the poem in 10 seconds. Here it is. It's called My Cat Tiger. I saw a bag just lying there with papers all inside. I knew it'd be a real swell place for me to sit and hide. I heard some steps, I saw some feet. I froze and got all flustered. My heart stood still, my eyes rolled round, looked up and heard, you're busted. And that was the beginning for me. It's in there,
So
guys.
cute. Very clever. I love that. Yes.
Very cute. It's in there, and you'll see a picture of the cat in the bag. Okay.
I know it. Yes.
So cute. So all right. So now, how did you meet your husband?
Okay. How did I meet my husband? I was a cocktail waitress here in Las Vegas, downtown at the Four Queens, and my husband was a valet parker at the Four Queens.
Oh.
And there you go. And he just saw a good-looking cocktail waitress, and I saw a tall, handsome valet parker, and we went out for cocktails, and that was almost 40 years ago.
Amazing.
So we have been married for almost 40 years. No kids, just him and I and our cats. We love our cats. And there you go. And he lets me go and travel and Casey LaCourse it, and God bless him for that, because I go on my own dime a lot.
That's beautiful.
I don't get no money out there, girl. It's
Listen,
on my
I
own
don't
dime.
care because I've been all over the world too. And, that was my bucket list, to travel the world. And who cares? At the end of the day, wow, amazing.
Yeah. The recognition I have from my, I should have told you, I have video showcases on all social media. I've been doing them for 5 or 6 years. They're called Hearts of the West.
Okay.
And I have had over 300 performers on there. And I have gotten around. I have had Australian performers, European, UK, America. And I do have to say, Mark Eckel on www.ozcmr is really a fabulous friend because he plays my poetry every day, hooked with my good friend who has passed, Dawn Anita Plumley. She was a very talented Western singer. And I have a spot every day, 5 days a week on his show. And it is really because of that I am recognized as much as I am. People maybe don't know me by face, but they hear my name.
Right.
And they go, I know who you are. Yes. And I pick up performers wherever I can because of that. So it's really great. It's really great. And it's all about spoken word for me. It's all about spoken word. I love to keep the tradition out there alive.
Do you have any idea about how many poems you've written about?
I would have to say right off the top of my head, at least 150.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get it.
That's about par.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm working on I'll have my 5th CD out later in a couple of months, and every one of my CDs has got almost 20 poems on it.
Okay.
And I always think when I get done, I'm never going to be able to come up with another one, and then boom.
Right.
I'm ready to go. It just takes so little to inspire me, and there you go. Yeah, I've got 15 more ready to go in the can.
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
I ask a lot of the musicians, the singer-songwriters, this question as far as on their end, what comes first, the music or the words? And I get a mix of answers, and that's really cool. So I know me as a poet, I usually have to have a topic, and then I run with it, and bam, it just happens. But very seldom, but it has happened. I've had to have a pad and pen in my car. All of a sudden, something would pop in my head, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. And I'd have to write it down and make a poem about that. Has that happened to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I work as a school crossing guard. So on the mornings when I don't have a lot of kids, I'm sitting there in my chair, and I find that's my kind of quiet time, and I can write or get a subject matter. And then I always try to think I always try to think, okay, let me see, who do we have? Oh, Jesse James, Annie Oakley. All right, what happened to them? I don't talk so much about their, I talk about their emotion
Okay.
and their spirit and what made them who they were, you know. And I run with that. And I do a lot of research when I write about anything historically in the Old West. I do a lot of research so that I get it correct.
Cool.
And I remember in one of my poems, I was writing about, what was it? A 45, but there's also a 44 caliber pistol. And people always say, oh, it's a 45. No, there's a 44. Yeah, there's a 44 out there too. I can't remember. I think it's in my Jesse James poem. I can't really remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm correct. So when people try, I'm like, no, I know what I'm talking about.
That's so funny. Of course you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, hit us with another poem, girl.
All right, I will. I got to look this up here real quick. I kind of like, oh, you know what? Let me do one for us.
Okay.
It's my Australian poem.
Okay.
About the Murray River. You're familiar with the Murray River, right?
Okay.
All right. And it's called The Magic of the Murray. Riding through the outback's heart, a cowgirl from the American west part, I found my soul by the Murray stream, where gum trees tower and kangaroos beam. I've traded my Stetson for an Akubra wide. My spurs broke the silence by the river's side. The rugged landscape, so foreign yet grand, stole my heart for this bushman's land. The Murray's waters ebb and flow reminded me of the Rio Grande's glow. Finding myself under starry skies where I'd ride and roam, loving the river and what it holds, this old cowgirl found a new home. I watched the pelicans glide and play as sugar gliders flew from tree to tree at Waters Bay. The river's song, a soothing serenade, echoed through my soul in a cowgirl's shade. In this land of wonder, I found my peace, a world away from the Wild West's harsh release. The Murray River's charm has captured my heart, a love so strong it would never depart. Now with each twist and turn of the river's bend, I feel at home, where Red River gum trees stand, an American cowgirl in a wondrous land. Yes, I found my heart's home by the Murray's hand.
So, first of all, that's beautiful. And
thank you.
Oh my gosh. So, I want to just share this about Australia.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there so many times, and the only thing I do when I go there anymore, because the first time's different. You know, I went to New Zealand, I bungee jumped in New Zealand, you know, I did it all. But now when I go to Australia, I stay with my friends who live there, a bunch of friends. I have tons of friends. And I only say, we're going to go to play our poker league, and I have to go to the zoos. That's it. That's all I care about. And I got to tell you something. I had the opportunity to go to, he passed away. What was his name again? He had the zoo. You know.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Stephen. Yeah.
I forgot. I can't believe I forgot his name.
I know. Stephen Irwin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I got to go to his zoo and meet his family. And I was able to go lay in the field with the kangaroos. And I have a photo of me, and I'll send them to you later, in the middle of the field with all the kangaroos around me, and they let me kiss a baby in the mama's pouch. And the mama just laid there and trusted me. Okay, and then this was the best part, because if you go anywhere like to these zoos and you want a photo with a koala bear, they don't have a spine. So what they do is they make you put your hands like this. They carefully put the little koala in your hands, and you smile, and that's how you get the photo. At that zoo, because we were talking and we got to know each other, they got this gigantic koala and threw it in my arms. And I have a photo with me and my two mates.
Oh, my God.
And I laugh and I say that was the best boob job I ever had. That koala was all over me, baby. It was priceless.
Love that.
Yeah.
See, making memories. See, that's, you know, you got to go. You got to get out there and make your memories. They won't come to you.
Best
You got to
place.
get out there and find them.
That's
You
right.
got to get out there and find them. I've done that too. I went to the Gold Coast, parasailed,
Yeah.
Barrier Reef, snorkeled.
Yeah, me too. Yes, girl, all of it.
Right? My gosh. And, and then I wind it up with one of my festivals, my country festivals. But I always go out there with a new focal point to find. And it's an adventure. You got to get out there because tomorrow it's no guarantee.
There you go, girl. So, all right. So now let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you have other interests as well, other than writing? It came later, but what were some of your other interests?
Art. I sketched, I painted.
Yeah, we're artists.
Yeah, it just all comes so naturally. And I think, I don't think it's a big deal because I think, anybody can do that.
Mm-mm.
So I downplay it, and my husband always says, you got to play to your positives. And he goes, you need to get back in. I said, no, I can't. I don't have enough of a lifetime to learn all the different techniques they have now. So I'm good. I might sketch something out now and then. But yeah, my poetry has really, Casey LaCourse has really taken over
Beautiful.
my life. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So we still have some time here. I want you to read one more poem.
Sure.
And then I want you to talk about it, and then I have a few more questions for you.
You got it. Now this poem and this poem is called "The Final Call." It's going to be on my new CD.
Okay.
And I was just thinking about the gunfighters, and how precarious their life was. They were a gunfighter, and their time was coming to an end too, and they led that life, and maybe they didn't want to lead that life anymore because where was it going to go? So I thought from a cowboy's perspective, a gunfighter, I wrote this poem, and it's called "The Final Call."
Okay.
The sun is high, casting shadows on dusty ground. A lone cowboy, his legend renowned. His guns, a symbol of days gone by. One last gunfight could be his final goodbye. His weathered face and sunburned eyes tells a life of endless tries. The weight of his Colt 44 beckons him to come alive. His hat sets low to hide his eyes so the fear won't show. The air is tense, the moment still. Never pause when set to kill. The silence broke by a fatal sound. The cowboy falls, his gun laid down. His last gunfight, a tale to tell. He has no name, his legacy saved for a picture frame that says it all. The bloodstained ground is his final call.
That is so beautiful. So
Thank you.
the 44, I'm going to trick my brother later because I have a gun, a handgun. I don't really know how to use it. I got to learn, but I have it. But I'm going to tell him it's a 44 and see what he says.
Okay, all right. Because I'll bet you anything. He'll go, well, there's no 44. It's a 45.
It's a 45. I'm going to tell him. Yep.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you, do you do any other poetry? Have you written anything that's not cowboy related?
I do.
Okay.
And I absolutely do. As a matter of fact, I have a good Australian friend, Ricky Parker.
Okay.
And he is with Parker and Johnson. He is a singer-songwriter. And once again, Mark Eckel hooked me up with him, and he said, "Casey, this Ricky is looking for somebody to help him with lyrics." And I go, "All right, I don't know how to write in song format, but I can write a poem, and he can take it and do what he needs to." So I can't believe I forgot to tell you about this. We wrote a poem together. I was always feeding him lyrics, and one of the songs that we co-wrote that he did the music for and I did the lyrics and he helped with that is called "We Just Ain't the Same." And it's got nothing to do with cowboy or just about people that have been married for a long time and then just grown apart. We just ain't the same. And what happens to them. And then I was helping him do some other things. We just became really good friends. And he calls me his cowgirl angel.
Aww.
So I said, that sounds like a song. And he goes, I think you're right. And I said, well, I must have come down from heaven and found the light, and it just talking back and forth. So now we have a song out there together
I
called
love
Cowboy
that.
Angel. Yeah. And Ryan White Maloney, he's a studio singer that was on The Voice. And he knows Ricky. Ricky gave it to him. And now it's out there. And Ryan White Maloney is singing Cowgirl Angel out there.
You have to send me
it
that
you.
MP3. I would have played it today if I knew about that, girl.
I forgot. How could I? But I did. I
All right,
forgot.
you
Yeah,
send
because
me
I'm
that
all
MP3.
over the place.
Yeah.
I will definitely send
It's
it to you.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know the name Trade Martin. He's an elderly gentleman who goes back, way back in the day. He first of all, he's an entertainer, songwriter, the whole bit, but he worked with everyone under the sun. Every legend you can imagine he worked with. And he reached out to me a couple years ago and said, we're writing a song together. I said, I'm not a songwriter. No, we're going to do this. So we did a Christmas song together. But here's what's funny. I say he did most of it, and he says, no, you did. No, he did most of it. But we did it together, and it was great. Priceless.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what part Ricky wrote, what part I wrote, because we just, battered around there so much. And it's a collaboration. And I'm just really I would love to be a lyricist, so I really get a kick out of doing that. I would love to do that for songs. I would love to be part of that for sure.
And I had a husband and wife, beautiful couple, take one of my poems without me even knowing it, and they sang it and put music to it and sent it to me. It was beautiful.
I love that. Yeah. See, it just reaches
the poem
a bigger
in the
audience.
book called "Imagination of Wonder." That was the song they took. Okay.
Okay, I'll look. Definitely. Yeah.
So But now let me ask you something. Let's talk a little bit about your artwork. So when you were younger, did you draw a lot?
I did. I did. I remember distinctly in ninth grade, I was taking an art class, and I was always in my room with my tempera paints, and I painted the Yellow Submarine, the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
I painted that. Well, it was all the big daisies, the big flowers. Was that the 60s? Wow.
Yes, 60s girl.
And so I did a lot with that. And what else? Then as I grew up, I found I'll send you a picture. I found I was doing charcoals, and I take the charcoal and I charcoal out the whole piece of paper, and then I erase out the image that I want to.
You have to send me one. So I love charcoal. That was my main thing, but I didn't do it the way you did it. I drew with the charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see something. All right.
Yeah, I have three. I did one of Lynn Anderson, and I should send that to her daughter, Lisa Sutton. Yes. I know Lynn Anderson's daughter, Lisa Sutton, now. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I also, all because of my cowboy poetry, I wrote a poem for her mother about a memory. God, look at me. I forgot what I did about a memory that she had, and I can't bring it to mind. I should have printed that one out. And she had a really sweet memory, Lisa Sutton, about her mom, Lynn Anderson, when they were kids, because Lynn Anderson was an equestrian, a real show woman for horses. And for all the awards that she won, they won those ribbons, those round ribbons with the tails on them. I can't think what that round part is called. But she would take all of them, and she made a ribbon blanket for her girls. And I thought, what an outstanding memory. The round part was the pillows. She put them all together. And then the ribbons, she had a girl make it into a blanket. And I called the poem The Ribbon Blanket. And Lisa Sutton got a hold of it through a mutual friend, and she put me on her front porch site that's dedicated to her mom, Lynn Anderson. And that poem did really well for me. And so now Lisa Sutton and I have become good friends because of that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, there you go, right?
Oh, my gosh, that's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you?
I'm on all social media. I'm on Facebook. I put out a new showcase every 2 weeks, and it's got Western country, storytelling, cowboy poetry on it. And Casey LaCourse, I'm right there on Facebook. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
KC LaCourse. Instagram, KC LaCourse.
Yeah.
TikTok, KC LaCourse. YouTube, KC LaCourse. I'm out there. I don't put my phone number out there anymore
No.
because it's too.
I agree. I agree.
You can't. You can't. So I've got kclacourse@gmail.com. But it's always good to watch the showcases, and it's called Hearts of the West. I have a KC LaCourse page and a Hearts of the West page, and they both have my showcases on them. But either one, you can always reach out to me and direct message me or something. But
Yep.
I'm there.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm there. Thank you.
So I want to now read a poem that I like to read, and there's a reason why. So I wrote this poem for people who feel like they have nothing to offer. All right, it's called Utilizing Gifts and Talents. And the reason why I wrote this, guys, is because there are a lot of people that are going to be calling me and saying, she's the coolest cowboy poet ever. And they will. All right, they did last time. If I do singers, they'll message me and say, I wish I could sing like them. They're going to say, I wish I could write poetry like her. People have such self-doubt. And I want everyone to know that you all have something to offer. We have all been born with a talent, okay? You just got to figure out what it is. So if that's you, please listen to every word of this poem. It's called Utilizing Gifts and Talents. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used, God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour like this lady's doing. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score like this lady's doing. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second-rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened, and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, KC LaCourse, baby, will live forever, girl, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And Casey, that's what you're doing.
I'm going to tell you, I got to interrupt you before I lose this.
Okay.
We would be so dangerous if we lived close to each other.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you, because I created a nonprofit called Find Your Journey.
Oh.
And I go to local high schools and talk to the seniors. And I tell them about, I had a very, I did not have a good childhood, but,
Okay. Okay.
I came out on the other side.
Okay.
And I found my worth. And I go to these schools, these local high schools, and talk to these teenagers. And I tell them about my life, the good and the bad. And there was some horrendous stories. I live in Las Vegas. So I have got some horrendous stories. It could have taken me down, but I came out on the other side. And I go to these schools and I tell these kids, so don't give up. Wait for the miracle because it's there. You have to believe in yourself. And I said exactly what you said. I said, every one of us is born with a talent. You just have to find it. You just have to find it. And you can't find it if you give up. You cannot give up.
That's right.
So just keep punching. Keep punching. And I've got a couple of classes scheduled for January where I'm going to go to a local high school. And I dress up, I do my poetry, and I really engage with the kids because I've also created a feedback piece of paper and I hand these out because I want them to tell me what they liked, what they didn't like about my speech, about me, and every one of those was positive feedback. And I remember distinctly two of those kids that are 16, 17, and they wrote on this feedback and they said, wow, I really feel like I have something to live for now because I really thought my life was over and I didn't know what to do, but thank you. And I don't know if they were BSing me or
No,
if
they weren't.
but,
They wouldn't
you
say
know,
that. They wouldn't say that
right?
if they didn't mean
And
it.
I thought, how sad for two of those kids in this classroom really felt like their lives, they felt such despair.
Yeah.
They felt such despair. And I was really glad that I instilled in them, hopefully, stories of what happened to me. And I mean, Jerry, you know,
We're gonna
they
talk about that later because I want to interview on a different network about that if you don't mind. We're gonna talk about that, okay?
sure.
All right, good. So
Yeah.
now, first of all, I want to thank you for honoring me here with this incredible interview again. My door is always open to you, and so is Hamilton
You're the-
Radio's door. All right, we
Yeah,
love you.
thank you, Jean. Yeah.
I
You
want
guys are
everybody
the
to share this video, please. This can totally encourage so many people. Casey, I'm going to give you the mic for final words, something to say to everybody listening, please.
Sure thing. And thank you, Jerry. I am going to
Always.
share this on my pages. Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. You know what? It's just, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep punching. You have to, you have value, you have worth. And I think what I do is just, I think anybody can do that. And I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised when I get recognized. And Jerry, you've been very kind and you liked my poetry today. And that's inspires me to keep punching and
Yep.
moving forward. You can't let your past is your past. It's the window behind you. You have to look out that front window. It's broader and wider than anything else. And that's the window you have to look out because you don't know what's out there. You know, you will be okay. Just get there. Just get there.
Okay.
You know?
Thank you, sweetheart. Amazing.
Thank you.
Stay on Zoom once it's over because I just want to talk to you real quick. So
Okay.
everybody, I hope you were encouraged by this incredible interview. And producer, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.